But Nick Fuentes, a fellow Chicagoan, okay? I'm pretty sure there's a million things him and I disagree with and will continue to disagree with. But I agree with him on this. I know. Nick Fuentes called out Hasan for being scared to defend his views. I know. Hold on. Hear me out here. Hear me out here. All right. I'll get to this because I see where Nick is coming from, but he's missing a few points.
Hasan Piker runs and hides because communism would not survive an encounter with the far right. It just wouldn't. All that sentimentalism, all that sappy, bleeding heart bullshit about free healthcare. Okay, we'll give you free healthcare too. I don't really care that much. I want to close the borders. I want to stop being harassed on the train. I want to be able to live in most of the city and not have to be a war zone. I don't want to have our country run by an Israeli fifth column, a Jewish fifth column. You would not survive that encounter, and you know that. And Hasan knows that if there were ever a dialogue, an ongoing dialogue, or even just a sit down, that whole fantasy, this bourgeois fucking champagne socialism would not survive an encounter with an actual real American, that's a son of working class people. And that's like the delicious and rich irony is that Hasan is a Nepo baby. He's a millionaire Nepo baby who's on all the mainstream platforms. How did he get his start in media? His uncle. And this is a guy lecturing us about generational wealth. Why don't we redistribute the young?
Hold on. I did just see maybe a person claiming to be Nick, not Nick. Almost clicked it up there, but then not. But who did that? Show yourself. Who did that?
Church media opportunities. How about we redistribute the Twitch subscriptions? So, as long as he's going to sit there and take shots from over there, inside of that woke fantasy land, they'll all be very confident in their ideology. But the reason that they don't want me to talk to Jimmy Dore, the reason they're screaming, he's a Nazi, but he said this, but he said that. Let him talk. We can talk.
All right. So look, all right. Nick is making out a few points here, but let me give him my opinion and things that I think can be not argued, but can be agreed upon. So here's my opinion about Hasan Piker. All right. He talks a pretty bold game, but anything that he's attached himself in regards to the left has been met with complete epic disaster. I'll never forget when one of his viewers or followers ran to him as he was ordering a Pepsi or a Coke because it's on boycott, right? The same guy who has been called a champagne socialist, okay? Living in a fancy mansion and everything else. And look, I'm not hating. The algorithm and rhyme favored you. You got all the figgy pudding, and at least for a good solid 8 years. Let's say I'm going to be generous with that. Twitch, social media was showering you with praise. You were top dog, the top dog, big dog in the media sphere. But as always, there's always going to be cracks in an image. How consistent are you? Because I can rewind back the clocks from 2021 when you were against General Strike Summit meeting. I remember, or forced to vote. Or what about the March for Medicare for All? Or anyone that was challenging the Democrats or AOC in 2024. I remember that. So 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, Hasan. Do I think he really does believe in the socialist communist values? 50-50. It's easier said when you could say it safely behind a keyboard and you're in a system, and also you have the privilege and a whole bunch of money to lay your back on. Like this. So I would agree with Nick, but I would say, no, Nick, he doesn't believe in anything, okay? Why do you think he rarely debates with people? Didn't Hasan say he was going to go to Gaza? And I have my questions about the people going on the flotilla, but at least they go on the flotilla. At least they go. Chris Smalls and everyone else got arrested and detained. At least they went. You have people going to these areas. You even have people going to war zones in Ukraine and everywhere else. Do I think it's a smart thing to do? Well, if you want to go out there and do it, just remember you're taking the risks, and it always comes with it. It was a risk. I was told by a lot of people, hey, kid, don't cover those protests. I was like, you got to do it. But when you make bold claims to millions upon millions upon millions of viewers, saying you're going to go to Gaza and then not go. Why don't you go? Why don't you go? Why don't you go there? All right. I mean, that's a pretty big issue. Hasan has gone the bat for the issues in Gaza. If anyone wants to bring attention to it, Hasan Piker, fly out to Gaza. So, Nick, I mean, I wouldn't say that Hasan doesn't believe in it, but it's like that scene from King Kong in 2005 when Jack Black's character tells the other character, hey, if you really love the theater, you would have jumped off the boat. No. I doubt it. I severely doubt it, okay? I question its authenticity of some of the things that Hasan Piker has said. And anytime he's attached himself to anything leftist, it's always been a disaster. But it would be an interesting debate, though, between Nick and Hasan. I would like to see it, if that were to be the case. But we'll see. But again, Serbio, right? Nobody on Twitch and all this fortune BS believes in communism. If he did, he would be distributing it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Because, see, I've been called a communist before. Way early on in the day for Hard Lens Media, I was called a communist and a socialist. I was called these names. You know, it's like, well, wait, I'm a little bit more of independent. I'm not on anyone's side. I just want people to live their best lives as much as they can. You know, I'm for Medicare for all. I'm for student debt forgiveness, for ending the wars. I mean, these are things that seem reasonable. I don't want to see the corporations control our politicians. I want money out of politics. I mean, this seems reasonable. Should seem reasonable. But no, everything becomes identity and everything becomes diluted. So, what do you think? But with that being said, folks, you know, just as a final note to this, when it comes down to the people who have the highest power, the influencers, because we see it on the left and the right, you know, we have seen already the great reveal, the great truth, and that is a lot of these people are just saying things just to say it, so that those that would never question them keep on promoting them. If there's one thing that Heartlands Media has been consistent on, it is our values and our truth. I believe in getting money out of politics. I believe in, yes, student debt forgiveness, Medicare for all. I believe in citizen ballot initiatives. I want to end the wars. I'm for free speech. My God, how many times have I talked about free speech? It's either you're consistent on these views or you're not. Do you stand with them or do you not stand with them? That's why I am so grateful for this community, because I got everyone across the political spectrum. And you know something? Every time I get the constructive feedback of saying, hey, you're wrong on this issue, or I don't agree with you here, here's my perspective, at least I'm getting feedback. You know, there are a lot of content creators that will never do that because people will not question everything all the time, every time, as you should.